Let's do our best to just not forget. Or I don't know which one is worse, forgetting altogether or saying, "Oh, that's just a Hallmark holiday."
I think it's important that you make sure that you're paying attention to your partner's preferences. So I might like dinner and, candlelight. But if that's not something that my partner wants, then I'm not really paying attention to their preferences.
What would make you feel special? What would make you feel cared for? What would make you feel loved and saved? And or do you want to go out or do you want to stay in? Welcome to
Marriage Pinnacles Chats from the Peak,
where God's favorites link up.
My name is Dr. Lara.
And I'm Emmy.
And welcome back to another episode of Chats from the Peak, where we talk about all things love, healthy marriages, and everything in between. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you for pulling up a seat. If you are returning, welcome, Peak Seeker. On Marriage Pinnacle, we talk about things from a cultural lens, a clinical lens, and a little bit of life experience. And so thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Today's episode is being sponsored by Unumi Aesthetics. And I can understand why, because remember, your skin is glowing, girl.
It's so
looking
much.
really, really good.
Thank you. I've been minding my business and taking self-care extremely seriously, especially with Valentine's Day coming up. So I went back to Unumi Aesthetics.
I've heard so much about them. Tell me a little bit more, girl.
I've been going to Unumi for a while. I really like them because they're a Black-owned med spa founded by 2 nurse practitioners, which I love. They really take the time to make you feel comfortable, and they're so knowledgeable about all things aesthetics. They believe self-care is not a luxury, but it's a necessity. Whether you're preparing for your big day, refreshing your glow after years of building your life, or simply craving intentional care without guilt, they are the place for you.
And I love that. I mean, I'm thinking about some permanent hair removal. Do they do that?
Yeah, that's actually exactly what they're known for. And they have that special laser that is made just for brown skin.
Okay, melanin.
Yes, because that is literally a thing. And they also offer aesthetic treatments like Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, microneedling, and facials. But more than that, they truly understand our skin, our bodies, and our needs. I never feel rushed or confused because they really take the time to explain everything, and they make the experience feel super personal. I got my underarms lasered a few years ago, and I was a little scared it was going to hurt, but they were so gentle, it was essentially painless. And my underarm hair is still non-existent 3 years later, so I highly recommend.
Wow, that is amazing. I know you're about to say they in Waldorf. Where are they located?
Not too much on Waldorf. They're in Ellicott City, Maryland, right here in the DMV. And they even do complimentary consultations, virtual or in person. So you're not just guessing about what you need, but you have a clear plan.
Yeah, I definitely said I wanted to do some intentional self-care before Valentine's Day. This is really feeling like a sign.
Yes, it is. Trust me. And honestly, they really align with everything we talk about here. Self-care isn't vanity, it's self-preservation.
Oh, you ate that. Absolutely.
So for everyone listening, if you're in the DMV, check Unumi Aesthetics, go get cared for properly, and then tell them MP sent you for something special.
Perfect. I already know I'm going to schedule my appointment for this weekend. Peak Seekers, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Are you ready? I know some of you are, and I know some of you are not. But for the ones that have remembered, we see you. And to all of those procrastinators, we see you as well. Let's be honest. Have we always nailed Valentine's Day? No. And at the end of the day, whether you're a guy or a girl, Valentine's Day, there's always pressure. And expectations are high. People are expecting the works.
Yep.
If you remember from last year, I'm always say, do too much. Okay? It's not just about spending money, guys. It's about the thought.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect, but be intentional. And sometimes when you make mistakes, it can really hurt your partner's feelings. So we want to avoid all of that. We want you to show up well for your spouse. Valentine's Day is not just about the roses and the chocolate. It's about showing your person that you see them, that you care, and that you want to get it right. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Good. So today, what we are covering are the 5 biggest Valentine's Day mistakes that people make. what actually makes a good Valentine's Day. Because sometimes you may think like, oh, this is the best plan ever, and it's not quite meeting the mark. So we're going to talk about how to actually meet the mark for your particular partner. Last minute ideas that do not look last minute for all you procrastinators. And most importantly, how to manage expectations.
And at the end of the day, this is not just for Valentine's Day. You can use these principles
All
all
the
year round,
time, for
right? So
sure.
lock in now at the beginning of the year so the rest of your year can go fairly well.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about what not to do.
Yeah.
What not to do. We're calling these out with love, guys. So if this one is for you, it's all right. We're going to talk about these with love. So mistake number 1. Memmy.
Forgetting altogether. Let's do our best to just not forget. Or I don't know which one is worse, forgetting altogether or saying, "Oh, that's just a Hallmark holiday. Oh, Valentine's Day is man-made. Valentine's Day is every day." Let's not do that. Let's not
Please, let's not.
minimize the mistake there is minimizing Valentine's Day. Saying things like it's just a commercialized holiday. I don't need one day on a calendar to show love. I don't need the man to tell me when to love my man or love my wife, or just like, again, just forgetting. So the problem with that is that you are minimizing and you're not prioritizing some opportunity to show love and express love. And understanding that it's not just about the holiday, it's about the feeling, it's about the thought that's behind it, like we've been talking about. So it's that feeling of like when you see everyone around you getting the love, getting the flowers, and you're not. It's isolating. It can be isolating. You can feel like, hey, how come? Why am I not special enough? Am I not thought of? So it's like these are feelings that you do not want your partner to feel.
Yeah. And so what you can do instead is, again, this episode is a couple days before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So you don't got that much time, but at least put it in the calendar.
Yeah.
If you have not remembered until this day, put it in your calendar right now. You have, I think, 2 days left. And plan something, even if it's small. Plan something. Acknowledge the day, even if you can't go all out. And I understand finances and life and all of those things. You have to take those things into consideration, but you can do something to mark this day.
Yeah.
It's better to have a card, their favorite treat, their favorite chocolate, their favorite candy, and something that shows I love you that can cost less than $10 and there's still intention behind it.
Yeah.
Or if you do have a little bit more funds, you can plan a date. You can do dinner. You can go, and it doesn't even have to be on Valentine's Day. Sometimes Valentine's Day is weekend, because Valentine's Day this year is on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And so you might have things commitments that you already have. And so you plan for next week or you plan for the week before, but plan something. And then if you are one of those overachievers, and when I say overachievers, you just have had time to plan, had time to think, had time to really put something together. Plan something that you know that they would love without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And so what I believe is the next mistake is generic and last minute gifts.
I think this is one of your pet peeves. Gifts with no thought.
Like,
yeah,
doing it to just check off a box, going to the gas station on your way home and picking up some flowers, holding the teddy bear that has the little chocolate heart at the center, getting a box of chocolates that I don't even eat,
buying the flowers from the Spanish man,
like
on the median strip.
Did you even try? You're getting me a card that don't even say Valentine's Day on it. I mean, something, or you getting something for yourself and saying it's for us. Not on this holiday. Do that on somebody else's time, on somebody else's watch.
Your own time.
Or even like you can tell that the gift was bought today. And that's a problem because it blatantly shows that I did not forget. I mean, I forgot. This is not technically important to me. And the person does not feel like a thought. They feel like an afterthought.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I think it's even more meaningful to just handwrite something than to buy a card with no meaning or to get a gift just for the sake of getting a gift.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What are some things that you could probably do instead?
Yeah. So I think So a couple different options. Like if you're going for thoughtful, like you said, thoughtful and personal, something you can do is get their favorite candy. Like everybody has a favorite candy. Even if you in gym life right now,
Skittle
you know what
me.
I'm saying? Everybody has a
Give me
favorite
some
candy.
Haribo every single
I love
time.
a good gummy bear. So get your favorite candy. If your person is a reader, a book by their favorite author. If you're taking notes and you're observant, something that they mentioned wanting 3 months ago. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be super extravagant, but it can be like, oh my, I felt this crick in my back. And you get them a little certificate to Massage Envy for $99. Like there's just paying attention and being observant, that's always going to tie into thoughtfulness. And also, like, like couples have inside jokes. If you have an inside joke, maybe something cute to kind of highlight that. But the goal with that is to make them feel like, how'd you remember that? Or, oh, you really thought of me. Or you took the time to really, you know, just prioritize how I would feel. And if this person is an acts of service, or if you want to do acts of service for if your spouse just had a baby and they're super overwhelmed, take their to-do list and take something off of it.
Yeah.
Say like, okay, I know you always do groceries at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. I'm going to do that for you this week because I know you're overwhelmed. Clean the house, clean the car, just take something off their plate. If you are more showing love through words, write a letter, like Lara said, write a note, and then talk about the reasons why you love them. That always helps. A video montage of memories that you've had together, a jar of love notes. Like some people say this stuff is corny, but I love stuff like this. So I think it's just a nice way to just fill up your home with love and just create that loving culture. So mistake number 3 that people tend to make is
Not communicating
your expectations. And that is super problematic for a variety of reasons. Lara, get into it.
So, this, I feel like I relate to this a lot.
Yeah.
Because when your love language is gifts, you just like, okay, you understand that tangible is the way that I receive love. And so before, I just assumed that like you knew that, so we would never have any problems.
So what's the
But
problem?
that's the problem with when you assume.
Yeah.
And so I think that you have to be very clear about what's important to you.
Yeah.
And then also not discussing budget. So again, people ebb and flow with their like finances and things like that. And so you may be expecting the world, but that's just not in the budget.
Yeah.
So it might be important to say, okay, like this year I can only spend X amount of dollars, and just so that is clear and upfront. And so expecting your partner to read your mind. Like I mentioned before, early on in our relationship, I just expected Tola to understand that
Everything, yeah.
you're supposed to every single time, every holiday.
Like, don't you say you love me?
Like, exactly. And so if you love me, you would just know that.
Right. That's a big one.
That's huge. And that's problematic because these unspoken expectations really equal unmet expectations.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't say it, so when they're not met, I can't necessarily really be mad.
Yeah.
And also it just builds an environment of resentment and disappointment. You're getting disappointed every single time because again, you didn't say it out loud. You think that your partner knows, you're assuming that your partner knows. And so you are disappointed every single time. And then one person always feels guilty or can feel guilty or inadequate. They're not feeling like they're receiving the love that they want. And then also like you are buying things that maybe don't align with what the person wants. So you're wasting your money and you're wasting your time and your effort. And so at the end of the day, nobody really wins. And so it would be more meaningful to have a conversation, even if it's before Valentine's Day. And what are some types of things that you could say?
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so hey, what does a good Valentine's Day look like to you? What is your budget? Like, what would make you feel special? What would make you feel cared for? What would make you feel loved and saved? Or do you want to go out or do you want to stay in? Just getting an idea of what your partner expects. And there are some couples out there where you may find out you both see eye to eye, where you're like, this is not an important holiday to us. So we just had Christmas, we just had birthdays, we just had New Year's, Valentine's Day, we're good. But it's understanding that and having that, not me either. Not me either.
Not me.
But you could be that couple, but you wouldn't know until you have that conversation. Mm-hmm. So set the expectations, have the conversation, and do it before Valentine's Day, preferably not the day after when one person didn't get nothing and it's like, dang, you didn't even think of me. I didn't even feel special. And that's because that conversation was not had before.
Yeah.
Something else to do is discuss your love languages, get an understanding of, we talk about love languages so much. I feel like everybody knows their love languages, but also figure out how that interacts with gifts. We talked about that a little bit before. Setting realistic expectations. Not everybody has all the money in the world. So if money is tight, make sure that's clear. Like, hey, we're on a budget this year. We're trying to buy a house. So we're not doing too much. We're doing candlelight dinner in the living room.
Period. And I think it's also important that you also manage like the societal pressures because we live in a social media world where everybody's going to be posting their new car, their new house, their new diamond, their upgraded ring, all of the things. And so it is easy to make you feel inadequate when you don't get those things, when you're not getting the lavish gifts. And so please manage your expectations when it comes to like social media and like even your community of friends, right? Like everybody is in different spaces in their lives. And so what I get, Memi might not get, or what Memi gets, I might not get. But if I'm comparing myself based off her relationship, I'm setting myself up for failure every single time.
Yeah.
And so do not compare your Valentine's Day to Instagram. Anybody on Instagram.
Please don't.
Compare it to what your spouse, how your spouse wants to feel loved. That should be your standard. That should be your mark.
And that goes right into the next mistake, which is when you're making those big gestures, but there's no love behind it, or there's no meaning or intention behind it. I think we talked about that a couple years ago where they're not together anymore, but like Offset did this entire huge room for Cardi for Valentine's Day. And it was like, oh, this is so nice. But it's like, yes, it's nice. And he spent money, but he literally just probably gave a personal assistant $20,000 to go set all of that up for his wife. So, I'm sure like it looks good on Instagram, but as for me as a wife, I'd be like, so what was the thought behind that? You just handed somebody $20K to go make this big extravagant display, but I don't really like you. It didn't cost you any time. It didn't cost you any, you didn't really think about me, but it's just kind of like, and how that looks like for regular people is like, if you're planning an elaborate surprise, something long and extensive, and it's like, we have to go to work the next morning and we're out till 2 a.m. It's like, that was great thought, but you didn't really consider me.
Yeah.
And so, or you have an expensive gift, there's nothing special in there. Fancy dinner, you make a fancy dinner reservation, but you didn't figure out where the kids going to watch the kids. So to summarize that is just that just because you're doing the most does not mean you're putting your thought into it. Does not mean you're doing it with care and with love.
Yeah. And so I think it's important that you make sure that you're paying attention to your partner's preferences. So I might like dinner and, candlelight. But if that's not something that my partner wants, then I'm not really paying attention to their preferences. So do they like the public displays of affection, or are they more private? So you want to cater when you're thinking about Valentine's Day. Yes, it's an experience for the both of you, but you still are catering to your partner's needs. And so if they are introverted, then like the big lavish over the top things at a restaurant are probably not going to feed that part of them. It's probably not going to hit the same. So you want to make sure that you're actually doing things that feed them and make them feel loved. And remembering that sometimes those small details matter more than the big lavish gestures. And so if it's, again, like Memi said, remembering to book the childcare, to make sure childcare is taken off, to make sure that they're home in time to get to work early the next morning. So you want to make sure that you're balancing the production with the presence, right? You want to make sure that you're there for the moment, but then also it's matching up to the actual experience.
Yeah.
And so remember, like, at least I can speak for my husband. He doesn't need the big production. He is more focused on the presence. And so if that's something that I know is important to him, I want to focus on that and making him feel chosen more than anything. And so also I think it's important to make it about the connection as well. So actually this is a day that has been signified as a day of love. So making sure that you actually connect. Connect on this day, draw closer to one another. The goal should be like actual love and cohesion. And so actually finding time to spend talking about your dreams, talking about the future, showing how you appreciate each other and why you appreciate one another. And so what's talking about your favorite memories, talking about the past, looking forward to the future, all of those things are important. And so instead of making Valentine's Day feel like a chore, it should be about just showing that genuine love, that support, and not doing something out of resentful obligation.
That's good. That's good. So just to quickly recap what the 5 mistakes are that we see very often with Valentine's Day is you're either forgetting it, dismissing it, or acting like it's not a big deal. You're giving out those generic last-minute gifts that show you didn't really, like you didn't care, like it was an afterthought. Number 3, you're not communicating your expectations well. You're doing big gestures with no thoughts, or you're treating it like an obligation. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like we said, we love Valentine's Day. We're believers of love. We're believers of, celebrating while we can. But remember that Valentine's Day is just one day.
It's one day.
It's one day.
It's one day.
And the goal is to make sure that at the end of the day, you're taking this one day, but you're being intentional throughout the year. So so yes, Valentine's Day might be a man-made holiday, but what about the birthdays? What about the anniversaries? So if you're able to be intentional about this, like the other holidays and the other important moments won't feel like work because you're already being intentional. And so making sure that you're trying to incorporate those regular date nights, the small gestures, and the daily appreciation, the words of affirmation, the way speaking to the language that applies to your partner. Those are the things that are important. So if you're only going to love your spouse well on Valentine's Day, you're missing the plot.
Every time.
You're missing the plot. February 14th is just a reminder. It's not the exception.
Correct.
So ensure that you are being intentional throughout the year, but avoid these mistakes on Valentine's Day. We want y'all to do that.
Stay away from these mistakes.
We want y'all to do that. And we want to encourage you that you got this. You still have 2 days.
It does not have to be perfect.
It's a little late.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
Make sure you show up with love and intention, and make sure that you choose your spouse. Remember that and celebrate it.
Yeah.
So it's been a short episode. We just want to let you guys know that we're thinking of you guys. And of course, have a happy Valentine's Day. We want to know, what are your plans for this season?
Let us know.
What are you guys going to be doing? Dinner, some wine, some
vacations,
some chocolate, vacations, staycations, all of the things. Since it's on a Saturday this year, drop it in the comments and let us know. And make sure that you tune into another episode of Chats from the Peak.
Bye.